Thanks, BP. Thanks for being here. Uh, Feels like yesterday that we were wrapping up our season. This off season went really fast, really busy, and put together what we think is a really nice roster. Really like the new pieces and really like the ones that have returned. So we've got scrimmage today, scrimmage tomorrow, practice Saturday, scrimmage Sunday, off Monday, scrimmage Tuesday. So we got a lot of baseball left, and we need all that time to continue to develop and be ready for a really good UTRGV team. But my staff did a great job in putting this roster together, and great schedule, and it should be a great challenge. We can't wait to get going.
All right, Coach. You've been doing this a long time. I'm wondering when it gets the season starts getting ready, do you still get those butterflies? Do you still get that excitement? And I know when you met with us last year, you had a certain level of expectations. How have those expectations changed when you look now compared to last year?
Yeah, for sure, the butterflies are a real thing, and probably part of the addiction of doing this. And I've always thought if I don't get those, that'll probably be a good cue that maybe my time is done. But no, I absolutely get them, and I get them every game. And I was fortunate enough to spend some time around actually it was an Olympic sharpshooter, and he spoke to our team at DVU one time and talked about those butterflies you get, that it's adrenaline, and it's such a gift. And he talked about what adrenaline does to the body and how it's your superpower. And so I was an English major, so I'm not sure any of that's true, but I believed it the whole time. And so getting that feeling is, I'll certainly have it a week from Friday. But yeah, what was the second part of it?
Expectations. Do you
Yeah,
have
I
those?
expect it. I'm terrible at that. Uh, I enjoy the journey and the process so much. And there are a lot of new faces. I miss a lot of the guys that have been here. And we had some great guys on our team last year and some guys that were really fun. So I miss that. But, a year ago, I didn't know that we were going to be what we ended up being. I knew we were talented, and I know we're talented this year. But last year, we won a lot of close games that I think helped build us into that really tight knit, competitive. And I don't know, it's chicken or egg. Do you need to win those games to be that, or are you that? And that's how you win those games. So I certainly feel like the makeup is very similar, but expectations. I'm probably boring answer, but I think if I've done anything well in my career, it's tempering those and staying in the moment. And honestly, I've spent all day thinking about today's scrimmage and a little bit on tomorrow.
You mentioned a lot of the new guys, another year of turnover. I mean, you've dealt with this in the past. I guess, do you have kind of a way that you approach, kind of team bonding? Do you kind of push that, or is that more player led? Obviously, we heard from three of the returners a couple of days ago, but I mean, just what's your approach on that?
I think it starts in recruiting like-minded people, and what I mean by that is like-minded in their view of competing in team and development and having a value system that is driven towards the team doing something and not just your individual stats. And I think that's hard in our sport because our sport is very individualistic in terms of, it's a pitcher versus a hitter, and then it becomes a team sport once the ball's put in play. But I think there are guys that can see, and the three guys you had up here the other day, you know, Brady and Dario on the offensive side, nobody does it better from an individual standpoint, but they do it in the context of playing team offense. And so I think we've done a good job of really teaching that, hey, your at bat is a part of a bigger at bat for the team. And Dom, your outings is a part of something way bigger. But the individual team stuff, like I always think, I'm upper management to them. Like I joke, but when I was an assistant, I was cool and everyone called me Fitz, and then I became a head coach and I was Coach Fitzgerald, and everyone was on their best behavior around me all the time. But I think we give the guys a lot of autonomy to be themselves, and we spend so much time together, and they're like-minded, and our core values are so laid out that I think the bonding part comes in that like-mindedness.
And on the point of Brady and Dariel, they're changing positions. Brady's been working in the outfield. Dariel was DH last year. Now he's working in the infield. How are they progressing?
They've been awesome. Brady played outfield in high school, and Brady's a good runner. he kind of lumbers around. He actually reminds me a lot of kind of the Lance Berkman, even Max Muncy. It's a bad comp because he's a third baseman, but he's big, but he really moves well, and he's a long strider in the outfield, so he gets the ball. And Dariel is a really good infielder. We just had exceptional defenders last year who played ahead of him, and Dariel really, I'll give him a lot of credit. Like that was a massive point at his exit meeting that he wanted to play defense. And I said, well, no one wants you to play defense more than I do. So, but I'm going to play the best defender. So you got to go out and win it. And he won it by 1,000 miles. He's been unbelievable. Those two are incredible workers and super confident. And they have the confidence. Like if I ran out there after this and said they were both playing short today, they'd be like, it's about time.
You had it last year with Dom, preseason hype, preseason love. He's got more this year. Brady's got even more this year. Ever a conversation, or you let those guys handle it? They both said they don't care. I'm sure you love hearing that. But do you have to talk with them and work through that, or you just trust them to do it that way and the way they want to do it?
Yeah, I don't really talk to them about it other than I think I talk globally to all the guys about preseason stuff and projection and articles and all that stuff. It's phenomenal because people love college baseball and they love what's happening inside of our program. But it's all just guesswork, and if you handle it well, it's great. And if you don't, it's drama and it's distracting. And so I think part of it is I'm kind of unaware of a lot of it because I'm so locked in on what we need to do today, and I don't really I pay attention to none of it until I sense that something's affecting us. But with those two, no, I've never had to have a conversation with Dom or Brady about any accolade they've received. They're both genuinely humble people. If you meet their families, you know exactly why.
And following that up perfectly, tied fifth in the league. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe that's breaking news to you. But what does that mean to see it? I know it doesn't mean a lot, big picture and all that, but in terms of building your program, where you were when you started to where it is now.
I'd really have to spend some time looking at it, seeing the rest of the league, and I think I've got opinions on our league and who I think should be good and who returns a lot. And usually after a weekend, you play someone like TCU last year, you walk away like, hey, these guys are really young, they're going to be really good next year. So I assume they're pick one. I literally haven't looked at them yet. Arizona went to Omaha, so you assume they're up there. Pretty good. But I don't. And then in recruiting, you go up against guys in the portal and you see that so and so is going here or there. But outside of that, if we had to open up Big 12 play this weekend, I would not feel great about where we're at. Nor I would say probably the rest of my peers in the Big 12 would say the same thing. Like you need those 4 weeks to continue to develop and continue to get better. Like I don't want to play the Big 12 tournament this weekend. Like I want that in May. And I want the postseason in June. And so yeah, I don't know what we were ranked last year going in. So really, I think if anything, I think fifth is. I know we weren't fifth last year. I think we were lower than that. So I think if anything, it's a sign that maybe caught some people's attention last year and maybe moving in the right direction.
The guys earlier this week said they're really hungry to get back out there after the way last season ended. Have you seen that mentality from them, and have they or you talked to the new guys about what it'll take to get back to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think the expectation of the guys is to play really solid baseball and to stay fundamental in what we care about, and knowing that that's what led us there last year. And I think the returners have modeled what that work looks like and how you have to go about it. We haven't talked about the NCAA tournament, and I don't think we will unless something guides us that direction. But I do think the returners have gone about their work very much in a postseason way, if that makes sense. Like there has been no our first lift back for break. I was down in the weight room watching the guys lift, and you could tell that they were mid-season form in terms of their strength, their agility, their movement, their mobility, all that stuff. So I think we've had an overall really awesome mindset about coming into the year, and I think it's because those returners have modeled it.
Coach Manning West and Cannon Carr were two guys who had a lot of meaningful innings for you last year. I'm just wondering, what do you see their roles being heading into this year?
Yeah, Manning was huge for us last year. He had 30 appearances. He had a ton of appearances and was really good. He's added a couple pitches, which has been really nice. He was cutter heavy last year, and analytically, it's a huge pitch for him. And he's added a couple more that I think are going to be really effective as well. Cannon has always been kind of a Swiss Army knife. He started a ton of games for us last year. Um, 3 out of necessity early in the year when we had a suspension, and then later in the year he started a lot of those Sunday games, but we were Friday, Saturday, and TBD on Sunday, and it just worked out that he never had to throw in relief on those Friday and Saturday appearances. So Cannon's going to do a lot for us. I think he can certainly start. He can throw in long relief, and to get 3 outs, you really trust him. So I think every pitcher wants to hear, hey, you get the ball on Friday, you get it on Saturday, you get it on Sunday. But I think sometimes guys don't understand that you have to have one of your top 3 pitchers in the bullpen, and you have to have 2 of your top 5 in the bullpen. And you cannot win games without having guys that you can hand it to, because most of the time when you hand them the ball, you either have a lead that you're protecting or you're in trouble, and you need a guy that can go in and throw strikes. So I think those two, because they've done it and they've got the experience and the confidence and the poise, they'll pitch in a lot of roles for us.
And then going back to Brady, if you think back to, like, I guess the first time you saw him play, is there an area where you think he's gotten a lot better in, or what do you see?
Brady has gotten a lot better defensively, and he's gotten more athletic. He's always been really strong, and he's always had an exceptional hit tool. Brady had a really funky setup coming in out of junior college. His hands were way in front of his body and very untraditional, and he's still got some uniqueness to the setup. But he has such a great mind. If I could have my boys grow up to be like anyone mentally on our team in terms of how they handle success and failure, it'd be Brady. Like, he's the same guy every day. Always fun, always in a good mood, always a great teammate. And so I think his development has been more physical, strength, movement, and he's just blessed with such a great hit tool that's played out since day one.
You've spoken highly of Jordan Bach on a couple occasions, and obviously he can contribute in different spots. What kind of impact do you foresee him making?
Yeah, he's a great player. He was an awesome player in Southern Illinois and put up great numbers and kind of hit the matrix for us in terms of on-base percentage and extra base hits and being able to do a few things defensively. So I think he's going to be big. He'll play the outfield a ton. He'll also catch, but it's left-handed, and it's really awesome hit tool. And I think someone that probably hits in front of Ballinger and Soria in some form, or allows us to split them up in the lineup. So I think he gives us some versatility and some much needed left-handed hitting, which we had 2 lefties in the lineup last year. So it's really nice that we've got a few more this year to be able to balance it out. But Jordan's been awesome.
Coach, of all the different components that make up a complete ball club, are there anyone's particular early in the season that are going to have your eye in terms of projecting, what might be awaiting this team?
That's a great question. I think winning the strike zone is always the first thing I go to every game, and so trying to figure out did we swing at strikes, and did we take balls, and did we get them to swing at balls and take strikes is kind of where it starts. So I think how we were so good at it last year. We did such a great job in the strike zone. So I think that's a big one. And then and baseball's changed a lot, and until it changes to the point where it's no longer baseball, I'll always look at starting pitching in terms of innings pitched. I think if every team that you look at that has a deep postseason run, it's because they've got at least two starters in their rotation that can log close to 100 innings, so those will probably be the two. And I think the one that you can't measure that I'll care about the most is just uh, how hard we play and how prepared we are. So that's the one that ultimately I really care about, and the other stuff kind of falls into place.
Guys on Tuesday kind of talked about some of the newcomers to the team and how they've stepped up. Has there been anybody that you've seen that's really stood out to you?
Got a bunch of them. I think we talked about Bach a second ago. He's been great. The Schlotterbeck brothers have been awesome. Cade Baldridge will start center field for us. But was a Gold Glove second baseman at Cowley. Got a bunch of guys in the bullpen. Toby Scheidt and Carter Fink. Carter was the Friday night guy at East Tennessee State, so he could be a starter or a reliever. Bodie Ray's been awesome in the bullpen. And kind of fun. Three freshmen, two freshman arms that we really like that I think are super projectable, and Madden Seidel and Sawyer Cooney. And then of course once you get going, you'll start missing guys. But yeah, I like all of the new guys. I think they've meshed in really well, and they're not new to us because we've been with them every single day. Like they're actually the furthest thing from new to us because we were with them more than anyone in the world. But yeah, I really like them.
And then you guys kind of ran into the tandem in that closer spot last year. Do you have any idea of who might be filling that role at the start of the year?
I think a lot of it depends on what happens the next few days, because I think we've got confidence saying Dom will pitch on Friday night, and then after that, this is the most competition we've ever had for the Saturday and potentially Sunday spot. And I think whatever happens with that will dictate then who gets the last three outs. And I think last year, it was Breckheimer late, but we also used Breckheimer when we needed to, like when we were in trouble. So, sometimes it looks like the guy that gets the save in the ninth gets the save, but in reality, it's the guy you brought in the seventh who pitched out of the jam against the meat of the order. So I think we got a bunch of guys, and I'm really excited. A week from today, I should have a really good answer for you on that.
Outside of Brady and Dom, who are certainly going to get some MLB attention this year, are there other guys that you think scouts are going to be following over the course of the spring if they keep playing how they should be playing?
I think the scouts really like Dario. He's proven to be able to defend in the middle. He's running great. His hit tool is super high. Tyson LeBlanc will play short for us. I think he's really twitchy and athletic, and I think any scout that shows up at a baseball field watches the shortstop for a good chunk of the game. So I think he'll get a lot of people's attention. Yeah, I think some of the pitchers, depending on the stuff, is really good. But I think the interesting thing about professional baseball now is a scout's going to come and watch and write the report and see what they like, and then it gets meshed against what the analytics say about that said guy. So, someone might come out and see a guy throw and really like him, but the analytics don't check the box. So it's the guy that organization, doesn't necessarily go after. And vice versa, there are other guys where a guy might say, hey, this is kind of funky. I don't think the arm's clean, but the org says that, he hits the matrix right. So I think we've got a few of those guys, and certainly some of our starting pitching that I think will garner that attention.
Are there any injuries or guys you're not expected to have here earlier through the season that you might have thought were going to be in whether it's rotation or on the field?
Blake O'Brien is out for the year, which stinks because he was trending in such a great direction and was having a great spring. And he'll be out with an arm injury. And I think that's it. We're healthy right now. I expect everyone out there to practice today, ready to go.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.